Hello, my name is Cedric, and along with my beautiful wife, Connie, we'll be hosting my brand new podcast. That's what I said. I'm a retired Navy veteran that suffers from PTSD and anxiety, and we'll discuss how I cope with the mental illness through comedy and discussion. It's a podcast that will talk about everything from cryptocurrency to comedy. If we're worrying about the dollar going up and down, up and down, up and down, and it's still a dollar, guess what? The value of that means absolutely nothing. Cryptocurrency in itself is the future of money. From spirituality to cannabis. To have cannabis on the Schedule 1 list is bullshit. I'm sorry, it is. It makes absolutely no sense. If it's a seed that can be planted and it has healing properties in it, why the hell is it in Schedule 1? Last time I checked, cocaine don't have healing property in it. From interracial relationships, I don't have a problem with people talking about interracial relationships. People try to talk bad about my interracial relationship just to think that they can get under my skin. I mean, really, it don't bother me. I mean, let's not make, call a spade a spade. But if you have a problem with someone that's in love, it shouldn't matter the race of the person. It's a mental illness in our community. The problem is people want to put labels on it. Everybody wants to put color on everything. And as soon as you put color on it, it gets treated differently. The money gets treated funny. Because if it's dealing with Asians, guess what? It's going to take a longer process unless those leaders step up and get into the president's face or U.S. leaders' face and say, this is a problem in our community. Not leaving one topic unturned. If you want to hear real, authentic conversation, interviews, and comedy, please take time to listen to That's What I Said, because I said what I said.
Giving you 100% authentic, real, raw, unapologetic truth with no filter. Listen to That's What I Said. Available on your favorite podcast platform.
That's What He Said with Cedric D. Sanders.
100% real, raw, and uncut. Deadass.
Y'all know what time it is. Turn up. That's what I said.
Welcome to another episode of That's What I Said with your host, Cedric Sanders. Giving you 100% authentic, real, raw, unapologetic truth with no filter. The broadcast starts now.
Hey. What's good, everybody? Live and direct as always on Tuesday with the live That's What I Said podcast. Please, 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 as always, give it up for my co-host, my beautiful wife, Connie. What's good, baby? Tell them what's good. Tell them what's good.
What's good? What's good, everybody? Happy Tuesday. It's actually been a pretty motivating Tuesday today, I would have to say.
It has. I mean,
got a lot done.
I actually did get some stuff done. I mean, prior to the podcast, but I also have been trying to, do the business side, and try and do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I hope everybody is enjoying their Tuesday, and I hope to make your Tuesday better with the That's What I Said podcast. And tonight is just going to be one of those topics, I think, that is going to ruffle feathers in a lot of people. I mean, and that's what the podcast is about. I mean, it's telling the truth, being authentic, being 100% who I am. And it's, I think, fitting that I'm having this conversation due to the fact that, a lot of people would have different ways of delivery when it comes to this particular topic. And the topic tonight, of course, is your self-worth and true abundance. And before we even get into that, I know you got a quote over there. I know you got something just brewing in your iPhone, just that you saved. Go ahead and give the people the quote.
The quote is, true abundance isn't based on your net worth. It's based on your self-worth.
So,
Gabrielle Bernstein.
so that in itself is a mouthful.
Absolutely.
So take that and run with it. So
Right.
it's one of those, take it and run with it.
Soak it in and do what I do for you.
Exactly. So tonight I wanted to do something that I think is motivational. It's also uplifting, something for your personal development as well as, your financial well-being. And it's a discipline that you really, I think, have to pay attention to, because it's almost like the ego that develops its own superpower and it protects itself from you. And a lot of people will say, oh, you can't control your ego. You're living in your ego. And there's a lot of people that do live in their ego. Let's not get it twisted. But true self-worth, in my opinion, isn't how you are setting yourself up around other people. It's not about that. It's not a comparison. It's not about competition. Your self-worth is the most important thing that any person on this planet should have, is self-worth. And then, you have some people that deal with certain mental illnesses and things like that. And they say they don't know what their self-worth is. Some people that don't suffer from mental illness just have had very bad relationships with people, loving relationships, commitments, things of that nature, and lose their self-worth. They feel like they have given the person that they were with all of them, when in reality, no, you only gave them the piece of you that you felt you needed to give to this person, especially when you realize that this person ain't shit. And then it's that whole healing process that a lot of people go through, and saying that they don't know what their self-worth is. I need to take time for me. I need to examine me and what I'm doing and what I like and don't like. I need to change some things up and all these different things. But really, are you even asking yourself the real questions that you need to ask? I mean, to me,
What kind of questions?
I mean,
you're sparking the audience. I can see that based on the conversation that you're leading into, that you're going to spark further questions.
well, I'm going to put it like this. There's an examination that you really have to do with yourself. And like I said, every one of these podcasts, I'm speaking from example. I'm being transparent, and this is not for just, ratings or views or things of that nature. Please share, by the way. This is an educational piece about my life and how I see things when I was in these situations when I didn't feel like I had self-worth. I didn't know what my self-worth was. And
Right, and you're only speaking to experience.
yeah, and to me, it's the best way to be able to talk to people and have conversations, and not to mention just the podcast. So one of the things, I think it's almost like you're dissecting a frog. You have the cheat sheet that tells you the body parts, and then you open the frog and you got to find the said body parts that's on the diagram, right?
Right.
Well, it's the same thing with self-worth. You got to dissect everything. You have to go through a process that a lot of people don't want to go through. Some people call it shadow work. Some people call it, being in your safe space, sitting in your room and allowing you to heal the best way that you can heal. I'm going to say this. If you're not honest with yourself, you're not healing. All you're doing is putting a Band-Aid on situations. You're not allowing you to come into the things that you need to come into, not just as a person and as a human being, but as someone on this planet spiritually. You're neglecting the you that you need to be by not letting, by not healing or going through the things that you need to go through. Appreciate that, Latanya. I always got a classmate or somebody from the KC up in the building. I appreciate you, sis. I really do. But I think if you don't respect yourself enough to where you heal, you don't respect yourself enough to the point where you are not taking care of you the best way you need to take care of you, you're going to substitute what you're supposed to be doing with other shit. And what I mean by that is you're going to mask your pain
with distractions.
With distractions, exactly. You mask your pain with distractions. You look at reality TV and you're comparing your life to these people that don't give a crap about you. Trust me. They only want you to watch their stuff and support them and give them the money. Well, guess what? That's the same thing with podcasters like myself, social media influencers, people that have a 9-to-5 job. They just want you to support them. But see, we can't get through the very fabric of this one thing. And people are like, oh, you're always bringing it back to this. But it's the truth. Loyalty. Who the hell are you loyal to? If you're not loyal to yourself, how can you say you're loyal to all these other people around you? You have to be loyal to yourself to say, I got enough self-respect to say, I'm dealing with some shit and I need to heal from it. And I hope you can respect that.
Yeah. Taking time out for you to be able to go through whatever you got to go through.
Absolutely.
Before you embark on those conversations again with outside people.
Absolutely.
Whether they're in your circle or they're outside of the circle.
Exactly. So let me take this break, as I'm going to do during the podcast, because I have to give my shout outs. I have to give a shout out to my niece for the t-shirts. She's on social media. She's been on Instagram for not even 2 months, or maybe just over 2 months, or right at 2 months, and has amassed well over 65,000 followers. And her page, if you'd like to follow her on Instagram or Facebook, it's on my t-shirt. To be heard.
To heard be seen.
Yeah, to heard be seen. Sorry. To heard be seen. And she does a lot of ASL, or American Sign Language, to help people get through a conversation and not feel like you have to really treat people that are hard of hearing or in the deaf community like
they're any different.
From any. They can have a conversation.
Absolutely.
So she teaches ASL. She's teaching it because she feels like she fits into the community of people, and she wants to have those people feel like, if you want to know the second language, how about American Sign Language? The sign language that was built on the conversations that we are having right now. Right. So shout out to my niece for doing that. I think she's doing an outstanding job.
Yep, absolutely.
So loyalty is one of the byproducts, I believe, in healing and knowing what your self-worth is. Because going through this process of knowing what your self-worth is, regardless of what traumas that you have went through in your life, you can pinpoint not just your triggers, things that's going to, accelerate how you feel emotionally. You're going to pinpoint those things. But at the same time, in your self-worth mission, you're going to realize that your self-worth is way more important than everybody else's drama. Way more important than social media. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's way more important than social media. It's way more important than paying attention to the TV. I'm not saying you can't take time for entertainment, but there should be a slim amount of time for entertainment and more time into you. It's like, do we want to continue to have this cycle where we're constantly looking for a job, a 9-to-5, so that we can pay our bills, take care of our family, and do the things that we want to do? Or are we trying to push our people into the reality of entrepreneurship? Because that's the new reality right now. The new reality is that if you're not an entrepreneur or a business owner, you're not excelling or achieving greatness at the level you should be achieving it at. Especially knowing that you pay taxes on, your paycheck that you worked for. You pay taxes on the retirement that you worked hard for, that you earned. Then you pay taxes on all the shit you own.
Right. Which is insane.
Which is stupid. You paying taxes like 4 or 5 damn times on stuff that is yours.
Like, prime example, you pay a tax on a vehicle when you purchase it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you go to the DMV to register it and get the license plates. You have to pay another tax.
Absolutely.
Then, if your state that you live in requires you to pay a property tax on said vehicle, you got to pay that too. So you're getting taxed at least 3 times on that same damn vehicle you purchased.
And it's stupid.
Dumbest shit ever.
It is stupid. And what's so bad about it, it goes back to that quote that a lot of people say, when you know better, you do better. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? We all know that there's a lot of things that have distracted us or put us in bad financial situations or put us in a humble situation where, yes, I have to get a job because that's a responsible thing to do. And I got to save money so that I can do that. It's like, yes, you have to do all these things. But let me say this. Your self-worth encompasses all of you. Physically, mentally, emotionally, and last but not least, financially. I mean, I could say spiritually and all these other things as well, yes. Mm-hmm. But financially, if you have, self-worth is the backbone of confidence. When you know your self-worth, confidence rolls right down your back. Everybody knows you're confident.
It should.
But we can't continue to have a narrative or conversations about the things that we need to do in a financial plane, not to be successful, but to pass a legacy on, to live comfortably and not have to live paycheck to paycheck. Live passive income check to passive income check.
Well,
you can, you can have passive income that well over exceeds any check that you've ever received at any job that you've had, based on how much work you put in to get that. If you're putting all this hard work in for a job that's going to pay you the same amount of money, take out the same amount of taxes, give you the same problems that you're going to always have, because guess what? You got to get up and go work for somebody else tomorrow.
Right.
Because the reality is you're paying somebody else's bills before you even get a chance to get the money to pay yours. And then even when you pay your bills, you're still paying somebody else's bills. Let me let that marinate for a minute.
I was just about to say, you're going to have to repeat all that, because that was some things that the folks need to hear.
I mean, let's be real.
Face first.
Let's have this conversation, okay? If
shit like that,
you're not putting yourself in a better position to not only, one, listen to the reality of how people are putting you in a downward spiral financially because they want you to only do certain things to control you. And then when you have that enough motivation to do something better, they make it harder for you. I'm going to tell you why it's not hard. Do we remember when we were growing up where we used to have these deja vu moments? We didn't know they were deja vu, but we know now because we're older. Deja vu moments where you have had a dream about something, and then when you, I don't know, when you're playing on the playground, all of a sudden it seems like time stops, and all of a sudden everything around you is shaking but you, and it's like, I've been here before.
Yeah.
This dude's about to kick the ball, and it's about to go over the fence, and that shit happens, and you're like, what the fuck? guess what? This is exactly what they don't want to happen. If you require time and energy to do things better, you are improving your self-worth by recognizing the fact that you have to take that time. See, some of us have this problem of recognizing good things and bad things. We get them switched around because bad things have always happened when we thought we were doing something good. I'm going down the right path. I know I am. But it always ends up being a crash test dummy, and you end up running into a brick wall. And you're like, this is stupid.
I've been here before.
Yeah, I've been here before. It's just deja vu shit.
Right.
Albert Einstein had this quote. He says, you do the same thing and expect different results when you receive the same results. That's insanity. If you keep doing something and failing, when are you going to realize I am not doing enough me time to understand why this is happening? Because the power of discernment is a real thing. The power of understanding and becoming a better individual, a better human being, a better black, white, whatever race you are, person, it's there. It's right there. The power of it is so real that it's so right there. You just have to recognize it and have the oh shit moment. But now what you going to do with it? You can't go to sleep on it. You can't expect it to just do what it's supposed to do, because guess what? That's not how self-work works. That means you have to put in work. That means you have to do the time. That means you can't complain or have expectations that somebody is supposed to just give it to you, because you're not even taking the time to do what this person is doing so they can give it to you. Take the time to do what you need to do to heal you so that you can continue on in this beautiful plane of abundance, true abundance, that most people can live in, because they have enough time in themselves to be confident that they know that they can make something happen. And they learn from their failures to the point where now their strategic strategy is to make sure this is successful. And they will do whatever it takes to make sure it's successful. That's what happens in a business.
Right.
You create a business because you are great at something and you are confident enough to not only create this business, but you'll be able to get it around this world or to your, city or state or whatever, and not make money from it, but know that you're actually providing something to somebody and you're making money from it. It's a byproduct. Everybody's like, life is not about money. Okay, well, you can believe that. Believe this. The US dollar is not going to be traded to certain countries here in the near future. So what do you have saved up?
Silence on the line.
Do you value yourself to have a legacy for your family? That means the information that you learn, you expound on that. How can I go on top of this? How can I prevent me being one of these people that is never going to get above what I need to get above, because I'm constantly saying this is a scam, this is some bullshit, this is whatever, and blah, 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 but you still struggling. I've said this on many podcasts.
Absolutely.
True abundance is very holistic when people can understand it. It's a very holistic thing. It is not something that is not achievable. It is something that is very much so achievable, but at the same time, it requires work. Becoming rich requires work. People say it's easy. It may be easy, but you still have to work, because you have to go from a different mindset. You might be middle class. You might not necessarily be broke. You might not necessarily be rich, but you're not a millionaire.
Right, exactly.
You got a couple $100, maybe a couple $1,000 in the bank, and you can take care of emergencies. You got good credit and you only got like a few credit cards, or you have many credit cards that you only charge a certain percentage on, maybe lower than 30%, hint, hint. And you have the ability to borrow money if need be, or if you're smart, you're paying your bills on your credit card and you're doing certain things. You're having a credit card that have reward points. I'm giving you some game right now. You have a credit card that has, some reward points on it, and then you charge your bills on it. Reoccurring bills that for a fact you can pay off that month, because guess what? It is part of your budget to make sure those bills are paid.
Right.
So no matter what,
should be.
Yeah. So no matter what, you're still going to pay the bills. But see, let's go back to the comment that I said, to where you're paying everybody else's bills but yours. But you still pay your bills, but you're actually paying somebody else's bill. Because when you work for somebody, you automatically became a financial asset to that company. They pay you because of that financial asset. And because you filled out your W-4, which you probably did it wrong, they're going to take taxes based off of how you filled that form out. Now, when you get the said money, your money that you are salaried to make has already paid somebody before you received it. So you're already in the negative, right?
What the hell?
The money that you work, okay, the company has a responsibility to pay for the said services you do.
Right.
Because in the Constitution, we can't do slavery shit. So, they pay you the said money out of a requirement and a law that they put into place. Now, if you owned your own business, how much do you think you would have to pay yourself to not just be comfortable, but still allowing your business to function in a true form of how it needs to function to be successful without failing financially and not going bankrupt? What does that require?
Discipline.
Discipline and loyalty, right?
A lot of discipline.
So,
shoot.
I'm saying this, giving you free game financially as well in between, because it absolutely involves financial. It also highly involves physical, mental, your social, as well as all the other mental things and everything else that goes along with it. And each one of those has its own top tier responsibility to be considered this. It's almost like playing a game. It's like, oh, you know what? You can't win my feelings unless you can massage my toes, because that's the top thing right there. If you could do everything else and massage my toes, that's it. That's it for me. You got me. Everybody's got that expectation. A bullshit expectation, but it's an expectation. Well, guess what? That is the same thing that is going to happen when you go through all this process and become be that self-worth type individual. There's just certain things, and everybody's different. There's just certain things that you're going to have done that you're okay with and you feel confident about, to where all this other stuff ain't going to bother me. I'm okay with being single. I would love to have a man, but they play too many fucking games. That's pain talking. Because if you looked at it in a different aspect of what you would like to have, and you're confident, you can't say you're confident that some of these men are this, and this, or you say without, any hesitation that men in general are dogs, or whatever the case may be. You already believe that.
Because you spoke it.
Exactly. You spoke it. Now, to me, I would say it just so happens that the men I'm attracted to, majority of them or some of them, are this. Not all men are that, but it's what you are attracted to. So then you have to take those steps back and say, I may be attracted to this, but am I attracted to the person or the activity or the whatever it is, that the association, whatever it is about this person? Are you attracted to that? Or are you attracted to something else? Because the confidence that you have to have, not just with yourself, you got to have it with everybody around you. It's like you can't tell people how to be with somebody when you only know how to be with this type of person. That doesn't mean that person that is dating someone else, I hope, that person that's dating someone else is still is dating someone in the same, dynamic background that you're attracted to. You're just trying to offer, what you believe would help, regardless if it's something you've experienced or you believe. And I'm not saying it's a false promise or it's like a false reality, but sometimes people speak from only what they've experienced instead of speaking from let's be real, a overall well-being of everything around them. Most people can't speak from that point. And the reason why I say that is because they've never been taught that, or they never have experienced it, or had somebody around them experienced it. Because most of your experiences that you have are life lessons. Everything else is what they told you needed to be successful. High school education, college education.
Good
job. Nice house, couple cars,
couple kids.
Dog named Rover. It's that type of mentality that was taught to us that we should have.
Yeah.
Not the reality of how the world works. I'm going to have a podcast that's going to talk about the Rockefellers, that I'm really been motivated. And I know every other podcast, I stop myself because I really want to have this conversation. And I'm building up to this conversation to have a few guests on, and that is coming. I have some interviews lined up that is coming. So stay tapped in. So, with that being said, I think being someone that is aware of how we are spiritually, how we are in a connection when we vibe with our tribe, quote unquote.
Right.
There are certain things that you will have to respect out of the people that you have in your inner circle, because everybody has an inner circle that's probably smaller than a gnat's ass. Some people's inner circle involves a lot of people. Me personally, I only trust a few people in my life. Those few people have a constant connection with me, and I have a constant connection with them. There's other people that associate themselves with me that I may allow to have that type of communication with me. Why am I saying this? I know my self-worth. I know what I've accepted in my life and choose to deal with. And I know what I'm not going to accept in my life and I'm not going to deal with. So that's why I have levels of friendships before the inner circle. Because if there's some shit that it's not that I have a problem with, it's I know something in my life is going to have a problem with it. Because my responsibilities are not their responsibilities. And I can't make my responsibilities anybody's responsibility but my own.
True fact.
So what I know I have to do is not deal with other people's shit that's going to distract me from the things that I absolutely have to do. I'm not saying everybody has to have this concept of life or live the way that I live, but I unequivocally don't give a fuck about a lot of people. I may say I do, and not just because it's a friendly conversation or a lie. I might say I do because I generally do. But my behavior is completely different. And the reason why it's different is because I have this mechanism within me.
Oh, I can bring up the word that you used the other day.
Please do.
The assholedacity.
These people have the assholedacity. I'm gonna get it down. I said it.
Assholedacity.
These people have the assholedacity to absolutely think that I'm going to continue my life dealing with the bullshit that they create. Absolutely not. That's a tough yes for me. I'm not doing that. That's a tough yes.
Hell no.
Exactly. Everybody said, wait a minute, you said tough yes. Yes, it's a tough yes for them not taking. Because hell no, I'm not doing that shit. I am not doing it. I'm not doing the friendships where people just think that I'm a cash cow and whenever they absolutely need something, they can come to me. Then there's people that I will do that for only because they're deeper into the friendship than some people.
Absolutely.
There's just some people that I know is struggling, but I know that they're struggling and I try to help and they won't take the advice. So this is when the whole...
You can bring the horse to the water, but you can't make him drink.
Exactly. And this is where my asshole part kicks in. What is it called again?
The assholedacity.
When you have assholedacity all around you and don't know it, it is my obligation as an asshole to tell you, because you're not going to get it from nobody else. People see the assholedacity that's in people and they just like, what the fuck is that?
Whoa.
They don't even know what it is.
They just like, what?
But I know that shit. I'm already like, oh, okay.
All right.
My wife did not even realize that I had this ability until about 4 years ago, maybe 5. When I tell her certain things early, she remembers them.
Yeah.
And I don't do it because I have an ego problem. I don't. People always tell me I have an ego problem. I don't live within my ego at all. I just can't. It's beyond me to be within the ego that is doing nothing for me. But this asshole.
The assholedacity. I love it.
This asshole has the assholedacity to think, I'm going to do this. I'm going to deal with this. I'm going to put up with. No, I'm not. I'm absolutely not. So my self-worth is not guided by someone else's penmanship on how I'm supposed to do things. I don't let people write my story. This is my story. It's my penmanship. It's not theirs. They can't co-sign on the things that I say because they don't know what the fuck I'm going to say.
And they're not your book that you're writing. You are all the chapters.
Some people are going to be stuck in a few chapters.
Because that's where they met you.
That's where they met you, and that's kind of where they stuck at. I know I probably have said this before, but people are just going to be able to recognize you and treat you based on the chapter that they met you in. Some of those people haven't been through the gradual process of you excelling and doing something in your life to do better things, and you have done better things, and they haven't been part of that chapter.
Nope.
They just come in knowing you from way back and just treating you like that person. Mm-hmm. Not saying that that's good or bad, but it's bad when you have changed and become so mindful of certain things and the people around you. It's like, damn, some more trash is creeping up in my house. I thought I cleaned.
Right.
There's dust bunnies in that corner. We got to clean those up. You could be a dust bunny. Mm-hmm. You could be the reason why this person has had more success without you in it. And it's not a bad thing. I don't want people to think that me saying that is bad. It's not a bad thing. It's just that when certain people go through evolutions of change in their life, they have a certain expectation within themselves to not deal with certain people. And it's not because of who you are. It's because of what you may do that this person doesn't want to be around. It could be as simple as this person being negative all the time.
Right.
It could be as simple as this person just doesn't want to listen. They want to only be heard. It's like, why? And then when this person can tell you that, you may have went through a gradual process of change, or maybe you still stuck ass. And you just have the ass audacity to actually ask this person a question or feel offended. See, me personally, I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I try not to even be everybody's cup of tea. I'm just me. A very genuinely honest person, blunt to a very certain extent. And it's like, if you can allow me to be blunt, I think I can help with what you're thinking.
Hold on to your shorts.
I mean,
if you're asking him to be blunt to you, I am telling you from experience, you better hold on to your shorts.
I mean,
male or female, you better hold on to them.
I have close people that respect me for my honesty and respect them as a person for not making them feel stupid. I've heard this on several occasions because I tell people, don't feel like what you may be doing or what you like or whatever is bad, because really it's not. We all go through our experiences in life the way we go through our experiences in life. There's no expectations. There's people that may not agree with that, and they may just, exit stage right and not even talk to you no more, and you don't understand why. Fuck them.
Yeah. Leave them where you left them.
Exactly. Leave them where they left them. Because at the end of the day, when you become this person of light, you do all the things that you've wanted to do and you're successful, those same people may have went through another process and just never came to the point of being humble and reaching out to you to see how you're doing, because you can't just be X'd out of someone's life and still not have a care in the world for that person. You're still going to absolutely care. That's not how love works. That's just not how feelings work for people. It just doesn't. Now, if this person was a complete asshole, then that's something totally different. I mean,
I was just about to say, what if?
You can't fix the very point of how the asshole audacity that some people may have when they know they're arrogant and they actually look for edification for that.
Right.
Look, dude, you can't make shit look good. I don't care how you smear it. But when you look like a whole pile of smeared shit and you expect me to just, no, I see ass audacity. That's the smeared shit. Sorry. I'm just not dealing with it. You're not going to make me want to deal with it. You're not going to force me to deal with it. You're not going to come up with some squirrely explanation as to why I should deal with it. No. You have the ass audacity to actually form your mouth and say what you just said. Sit down and get these words. Yep. Sit down and get these words.
Buckle up, baby. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Or maybe I should say, sit down and get this work. I mean, because obviously you need a job, or you off from the job you just came from. You need to put in some overtime. So I'm gonna give you that work. Anyway, anything for the people before we get up out of here?
Yeah. I have one quote to leave y'all with before we get out of here and wrap it up for this evening. The quote is, "I know what I bring to the table, ... So trust me when I say I'm not afraid to eat alone."
Well,
Author unknown.
well, whoever said that was a master.
Okay.
So I hope that everyone took the time to listen to what I was saying and breaking down self-worth. And of course, it's just my experience and what I've experienced. And some takeaways from that is just, have confidence. Don't expect people to understand how you're going through the process. You can go through the process with a certain select people around you because they give you good energy, or you could do it alone and do what, like they say, shadow work.
Right.
But take the time to do you.
Yep.
Have a realistic view of you. Don't expect people to understand it, because they're never going to understand it. And it's not your fault. It's not up to you to try to force and teach people how to see it from your side of the fence. Because guess what? That's how other people get trapped into this ego thing. They want people to see it from their perspective, and only their perspective, because only their perspective matters. Well,
There's no reason.
absolutely. So with that being said, y'all, That's What I Said podcast. We out of here. Please follow us on all social media platforms. That's What I Said on Instagram. That's What I Said 25 on Twitter. That's What I Said, the YouTube page. Please subscribe and catch the live videos. And as always, you can catch me on Facebook as well. That's What I Said. Join the group page and you'll get all notifications whenever I decide to go live. And without me saying this, I can't, make the podcast go away. But I have to say this. Download the Spreaker app. You'll be able to chat with me when I do a live podcast, and every podcast is a live podcast, except I will be shortening it. We'll talk about that next podcast. I'm going to give you guys the real what's up. Peace and love to y'all. Hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all week. I'll holler at y'all on Thursday. We out of here. Peace.
Peace.
That's what he said. What he said with Cedric